We're in Times Square, where it all began, NYC.
It's a pleasure to be here. My whole life, growing up young, like my mother died, and then a week later he went to prison. From 8 years old on, that's when my whole life changed.
Do you believe in the afterlife? Like, what do you think happens when you die?
I seen a lot of death. I seen a lot of life. I seen a lot of natural death. We're able to pick up these frequencies that we never could pick up before. Frankie, it's me, Sam.
No.
It's my father.
Oh.
Yeah, you reckon the whole joint?
I'm gonna wreck this joint if I'm still Brooklyn style. Frankie, look at you like $1 million. You look like you just stepped out of Vegas with Ace.
I wish.
Frankie Steele, thanks for having us and coming back on our show. We're in Times Square, where it all began, NYC.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
thanks for coming, man.
Yeah.
I enjoy your podcast. You know, I watch a lot of them, but I enjoy yours, you know, because it's not only the same thing. I like real estate. I like hearing about real estate, and I enjoy it.
I
We
appreciate
appreciate
it.
that, man. Thank you.
We interviewed a big real estate influencer yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, while we were here. So we're going to be able to drop that soon. And it's American based. So that'll be a good one too. But we enjoyed our interview with you. You're very enthusiastic.
Yeah.
And we said, how can we do this? How can we leave it virtual? We got to come in person to the Big Apple.
Yeah. You listen, you text me, I answered you back in what, 30 seconds?
Right away.
Yeah. Here I am.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I have so many things I want to talk to you about.
Just hit
wanna
me
get
with
it all
it.
out.
Hit it with
What's
it.
going on with Mobsters versus Monsters, man? Everyone. I feel like a lot of people are asking too. Like, what's going on?
A lot of people are asking about the show. All the episodes are filmed. They're not finished editing.
Okay.
But I have all the footage, so I play around with it myself. You know, I edit it and stuff. And it's just a little difficult because it's not like it's going on Final Cut with some regular footage. It's all raw, red camera. So it's a little difficult transferring the files over when I edit. But it's a good show. Not because I'm in it. It's just, you know, you have 4 guys who know each other for 30, 40 years together. Each one has their own personality. And, you know, naturally you have a train wreck. That would be Joey. He's the train wreck. Then you got Paulie. He's the ex-military guy. Then you got the skeptic, John. And then you got me. So I'm like the colonel, you know. And we have Natalie Garcio. She's like the handler that vets the incoming calls of different investigations. And we really do this. All the networks love it. They love it. They love the concept. They like the footage. They like everything. But then when it gets to the higher ups, they like it, but they are scared, still thinking that because of our past, they're mingling with us. And it's like they don't want to condone that they're hanging out with these guys.
Wow.
You know, so the network that we were signed to, we got released. And I'm probably just going to finish editing everything and just put it out on YouTube for free.
Okay.
It's, you know,
because it'd be a shame if I didn't, because the footage and the different investigations, it needs to be seen.
We had people commenting on our last interview saying the same thing, like, when is this coming out?
Listen,
And
everybody calls and asks me, but this is when you get to that top executives, they're a little scared.
At this point, it's like,
and they shouldn't be.
they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look at Get Gotti. Look at How to Be a Mobster, the new one that's coming out.
Yeah.
How to Be a Mob Boss or
It's
something.
some mob boss. It's like, Netflix has it, but it's just that when they're making their decisions, they're like, oh, if we put these guys on, you know, we're condoning their old ways.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not like a regular scripted show. It's a reality show, and you follow us in our home and our investigations. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's not like characters. Right?
No.
It's you guys actually there
It's
with your
reality
histories.
TV.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
And nobody ever did this
Yeah.
from my old world. No one ever did something like this.
Yeah.
So it's unique.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. So that's why I need to really finish it, edit everything, and just put it out there and just give it to the people.
So it reminds me of, we were speaking with Sammy
Yeah.
And we were talking about the Mafia States of America from PBD, Patrick Bet-David.
Yeah.
And he did the same thing. He made it exclusive though on YouTube. And I'm not sure what the numbers did, but his platform, I feel like even if he had just released it, would have been so good for the numbers, you know, and the production and maybe the next one you charge for it.
Right.
But if you get your name out there, you start putting it out there, maybe it gives you so much more credibility and quality that the next one, people are going to come to you and say, let us produce season 2.
Well, here's the thing. Here's plan B. If I edit everything and then get the closed captionings added into it, I can probably get it myself on Amazon. They take everything.
Right.
You know, for a small fee. You know, just to put something, $1.99, 99 cents, just something, just to get it out there, and it gives them, it's like instant distribution.
Yes.
You know, besides YouTube is instant distribution, but Amazon, you know, everybody wants a flick, watch movies, and it might pick off there, and I might, you know, get another offer.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot was spent on it, and it'd be a shame just to leave it in the closet.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree.
No, you need to do it.
And I just wanted to ask you, so obviously, you know, you have this, you know, interest or this, something intrigues you about like the paranormal, right? Something that's beyond what we see. So what I wanted to ask you was like, do you believe in the afterlife? Like, what do you think happens when you die? I'm just curious because we come from a Christian background. So we're always just curious to know what other people's beliefs are, especially when they've exposed some sort of interest in like the supernatural.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, what do you think happens when you die?
That's a good question because a lot of people ask me this question, and some people who don't know me and they hear me talk about it or answer this type of question, they'll make a comment on YouTube, oh, he's nuts or he's crazy. But in my experience, I've seen a lot of death. I've seen a lot of life. I've seen a lot of natural death, unnatural death. I know where people are. And in the 90s, Panasonic made a little recorder.
Okay.
And people were using it to like do like, you know, notes and speaking into it, but other stuff was coming up on it.
Mm.
This recorder was reaching a frequency that we can't hear, but the recorder somehow hears it.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
They discontinued it because people were saying there's somebody else talking on this thing.
Oh, shoot.
And this recorder actually picks up a frequency that we can't hear. And certain people who do this for a living think it's the afterlife, it's spirits.
Okay. So
naturally, I spoke to the guy who does this, you know, this guy, Tim and Rob. Mm. They're part of my crew. And when we do ghost investigations, you know, they have all the equipment, they make equipment, you know, they like go to Radio Shack and start building things, you know, they buy something that was built, stuff that, you know, the naked eye can't see, but this thing picks up on certain spectrum cameras, or the frequency or certain vibrations. There's a lot of different things that they have. And I said, okay. He told me how everything worked and everything. And I take them to a place with all this equipment that years ago, before it became baseball fields and soccer fields, it was like a mafia burial ground.
Oh, okay.
So I said, if anything's going to get picked up, it's going to get picked up here. Mm. And the place I brought them to, it's another thing that was tied to me. Somebody tried to kill me there.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. You ever hear of the mob cops?
Mob cops?
Yeah. Ippolito and Caracappa.
No, I haven't.
They were doing hits for the Lucchese family.
And they were police officers?
They were police officers. Yeah, they were pulling you over, taking you in, and they would torture you and kill you. Way. Well, one of them tried to kill me there. So I went back to the same spot because where he tried to kill me, I fell in a hole with a trike. I was riding a trike back there. And all of a sudden, the whole thing went into a hole.
Oh, shoot.
And when I was bleeding and got out of the hole, on the way out, the two cops seen me. And they were like, what are you doing? You all bloody, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I fell in somebody's hole back there.
It was the one day.
It was their hole.
Oh, for you.
Not for me. So now they go, we need a hole back there. I said, yeah, I found some shovels in a hole. But I was young, you know. He gets on the back of the trike and says, show me. So I take him on back of the trike and I show him. And as soon as I got off, he got off and then I got off. And I was like, here's the hole, here's the shovels. And it was weird. He bent down and he went to get something from his leg, and I saw he was pulling a pistol. And then he started shooting. But it was a lot of tall grass around me. So I just zigzagged into the grass and ran towards the water because it was like near the Verrazano Bridge.
So I think did he start shooting at you because he is like, this guy found out about?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
But at the time, I don't know.
You didn't know, yeah.
No, I just found their hole.
By accident.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this guy started shooting at you?
Yeah.
But their hole was for someone else?
Some other guy.
Yeah,
right?
the holes were somebody else.
Wow.
Yeah, I found their hole.
How old were you when this happened?
Like,
were you younger?
I was probably like 16, going on 17, around there. Yeah, around there. And it's funny, I ended up seeing there again later on in life in the middle of the night. But,
okay.
So anyway, I bring the crew to this spot. So because that hole, somebody was found. Because I was at a barbecue maybe like 5 years ago. And one of the investigators knew a guy who was in charge of that cold case. Because they found somebody in the hole, but they didn't know who did it. So it's always been on their mind. So the guy gave me a call when I told him the story at the barbecue. I said, yeah, I found the hole with the wood and the shovels and the bottles. And then all of a sudden, like 3 weeks later, I got a call from the guy. He says, you know, Frankie, that story you told me at the barbecue? I said, yeah. He goes, I spoke to my friend and he went through the cold case file and the pictures. It's everything you described.
Wow.
So they found this guy, Edward, in the hole. Now, his name was Edward something. I don't know. So now we go in the middle of the night with the whole team, the ghost team. We were all in there, the camera crew, the guy with the gear. Everybody was there. So we wait for 3 a.m., which is a good time. Witching hour, they say.
Witching hour, yeah. I've heard of that before.
So we go and we start with the equipment. And we started with the recorder first. Now we asked, do you know anyone present here? So now we're recording and you wait, but you see the light flicking. So that means it's picking up sound.
Like a frequency or something.
Yes. Okay, so now it stops. We play it back. We hear, do you know anyone here? Then all of a sudden you hear nothing. Then all of a sudden you hear like somebody growling.
What?
Okay.
I would already have.
So now that made the hair on my back stand right up.
Well, it just did that for me too.
Just stand right up. Now everybody was there. So now we started asking some more questions with the other equipment. And now there's one thing, I forget what it's called, but it's picking up words from the frequency. Cop, 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 Edward, cop, fire, rope. Yeah, that's what's coming up on the thing. So now this is happening. Now it's creepy now. It's between 3 and 4 a.m. in the morning in like a desolate spot on the side of the Bell Parkway in New York. All right, where you don't want to be there. And it's all nice with soccer fields in the front, but it still has a field in the back. And I knew right where the spot was because the little tree that the hole was near is a giant tree now. So I went right to the spot. So there's a lot of activity going on now. And now, like John, part of my team, he's a skeptic. Basically, he's like, "This is really happening." I'm like, "Yeah, this is really happening."
He was freaking out, eh?
Yeah. So now things start buzzing, and now they do a thing where I forget what the name of the test is, where they put earphones on somebody and they sit them on a rock. And now we ask the questions with this other side of the tool of this box. The questions. He can't hear the questions we're asking.
Okay.
He's told to say out what he hears. So we're asking the questions, and now he's blurting out the answers.
Because he's hearing
it on the frequency.
From something else.
Yes.
Okay.
You see, with the technology today that we have, and I know it sounds crazy, but the technology we have is so advanced that we're able to pick up these frequencies that we never could pick up before. So the spirits and everything that are on these frequencies are around us always. It's always been like that.
Yeah.
So when you ask me if I believe in this, I do. So now one of the questions when it says, do you know anyone here? Remember the first question?
Yeah.
Now that tape gets sent to Dakota. Okay. And a woman breaks it all down in the studio. Now, this woman never met me before in my life.
Okay.
Okay. Had no idea where the thing came from, the tape came from. She broke it down for the guy, Tim, and then sent me like 2 days later what was said.
Okay.
After she broke it down in the studio. Okay. Do you know anyone present here? That was all right. Now you're here. Frankie, it's me, Sam.
No,
It's my father.
your father.
Yeah. And now as he's saying it, and they play it back on the video, the Spectrum camera, my head is on fire.
Yeah.
It looked like Ghost Rider.
Because
That's how close he was to us.
I can't even believe that, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah. So now I'm reading this in my house.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm freaked out. It's dark outside. I run outside. I got a lot of cars. So I turn them all facing the house with all the headlights on all night. Had the whole driveway in the house lit up with car lights because I was getting freaked out. And now I start breaking down the other tape recordings, and there was kids, young kids that were killed there. There was one lady that was hung there by soldiers. I guess, I don't know from what year, but it could be hundreds of years ago. And there was other people in different languages, sounds like Russian, that were present. And it got to the point where the camera crew stopped filming. The guy that holds the gaff, he went back to the truck. He says, I can't stay here. This is too freaky. I don't want to bring anything home.
Yeah.
The guy that was in charge, he comes up to me and says, Frankie, let me ask you a question. I said, what? He goes, is this bullshit? I said, no, this is really happening right now. I'm freaked out, you know? And the two guys that I brought that do this, in all the years of them doing it, they never had a response in activity like this before ever.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
I brought them to like the killing fields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You understand?
For real.
Yeah,
But other stuff was picked up from not just mob stuff.
I was just gonna say if it could have been,
And when that thing said cop, 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 Edward,
you knew.
yeah.
You knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you ask me if I believe in the afterlife, I certainly do. A couple other things happened to me where people died, and I told them make contact with me because we knew they were dying, and they did. So there's something more to this. I don't know what, because I never was dead, but at least I know you go somewhere. There's something after this.
Can I be pun intended frank with you?
Yeah.
That like everything you're saying, it's not surprising to me at all, or I don't think, or you.
Like I'm just
Because-
weirded out. I creeped out by
Yeah, no,
it,
it's
but-
creeped out that you could go and tap into it, but
Yeah.
it's like that's all like in the Bible though, like spirits and demons, and
Good and evil, yeah.
It's all there. We're not supposed to channel anything. God forbade the people to do that at the time, the Israelites at the time, but it's just not like even today. We're not supposed to channel anything or summon a spirit so that it could speak to us or whatever, because it's witchcraft, right?
Right.
Well, that happened with that witch in the Old Testament with the old king Saul in the Old Testament. He went and he wanted this prophet's advice, but he was dead. So he actually went to what do they call him? A necromancer, and he asked her to summon this guy's spirit so that he can ask him for advice, the prophet. And yeah, that's an example where it happened. In
And
the
then he
Bible.
went crazy because of like all that's like he was going crazy. But we believe in that.
Yeah.
The thing is, we believe in that because like as a historical document, as a science and all that, the Bible's been proven. The things that the Bible talks about have been proven. So I don't doubt anything you're telling us, like in terms of what you found, what you hear, because it's real.
Again, for people that are going to watch this show,
I think we're all crazy.
besides being you're all crazy, I can only imagine what the comments are going to be. But I experienced this firsthand.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bullshit. It was actually happening.
Yeah.
You know, and there was points of that night where the Spectrum camera was taking pictures around us, where the one that had me look like the Ghost Rider.
In that field?
When that orb was right near me.
Yeah.
Now, one of the guys, John, he's like the skeptic. He won't believe anything until he's abducted on an alien ship, getting probed for 4 or 5 hours, and then look at me on the gurney and say, okay, I believe it now. So he's like that. And one of the pictures came back, and he's looking at it. And then you actually see where he is. There's some type of figure behind him. You see it. And I didn't want to say anything because it looked like some scary like thing from Evil Dead that came out of the basement. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The one that says, "Why did you disturb our sleep?" That one. Looking like that with the long hair.
That's creepy.
So I'm looking at that. I don't want to say nothing to him. I want to see what he says. He says, "Frank, I don't want to make you right." And he's looking at it. He goes, "But I think that's a disfigured face of my mother."
What?
And now I'm looking.
That's what it is.
I just got the chills, man. That's some scary shit.
Yeah.
That is some scary
Yeah.
shit.
So now the question would be, is if heaven or hell are real, how do you get to either one? Because those, when you're seeing this figured people, chances are you're seeing them in a bad place, not in a good place.
Well, when I brought them to this spot, a lot of the things coming out, the voices, they really were all like they knew me. Like,
Yeah.
it's like Frankie's here. Because even the guy Tim who and Rob who do this, they were like, yeah, they're very interested in you. Everything's revolving about something with you.
Mm.
You know, so what that means, I don't know, but at least I brought a little excitement to them for that night. They got out a little bit.
Fear,
I'm sure
excitement,
they got
you know what I
some
mean?
sort of excitement.
adrenaline.
Yeah.
You mentioned your father. We never spoke about your father last time. What was your father like? What was your relationship with him like?
Okay, my father. He died at 84 years old. He spent 51 and a half years in prison.
Wow. That's a long time.
Not all straight. The longest one was 27 years. The last one was 27 years. So my whole life, growing up young, like my mother died, and then a week later he went to prison. So right there, from 8 years old on, that's when my whole life changed. You know, anything that it could have been was gone. And growing up, I would go to different visiting rooms to different prisons. The first 4 prisons I was in, when I went to prison, I was already at those prisons visiting him in the visiting room. You know, so that was a lot of our interaction was more of a street level type thing. By the time he came out and I was older, I was already doing my own thing. He never wanted this for me.
Okay.
That's why I had to go a different route, and I ended up by the Colombos. Because if I went his route, I would end up with the Gambinos.
So he was in the life.
Yeah, but he was a big importer of heroin to this country. He would go to Istanbul, get real good heroin, send it back here, and supply Harlem, Washington, you know, the French Connection type cases from that back then.
So he was like a distributor, kind of, right? He was like the connect.
He
in a
was
way.
he was like the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, he made a lot of money, but he blew a lot of money.
Mm.
As fast as it comes in, you have no respect for money. None. You know, and that's a problem. And on the last case, he did 27 years. You know, when I got out, I took care of him while he was away. But he took care of everybody. But when, you know, you go to prison, you get forgotten about.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came home. I think he was 79 or 82. I forget. It's just, but within 4 years, he self-destructed. All his friends were dead. You know, the couple of ones that were alive, they were half dead.
Mm.
And he just spent his days hanging out at one of my businesses, having a couple of beers, and then driving to the nearest bar and trying to pick up the youngest girl. You know, and he got drunk one night and he went to trying to go to another bar. He ended up on the wrong side of the highway.
Oh, shit.
And hit a tractor trailer. Didn't die. Took his legs off and broke his back and the ribs and everything else. And when he went to the hospital, they saved him. And then he was in a rehabilitation place. And on the last day of his parole, because he was still on parole, he missed one of his court dates for that accident.
Yeah.
Because he was getting some type of emergency liver operation. And they came and locked him up on his last day of parole. So now he has no legs, no wheelchair, in a county jail on the floor. Now this happens on a Friday. I can't get him out till Monday. So he had no medication, no anything from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I get him out Monday. By Wednesday, he was dead.
Wow.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's tough.
Thank you. But he was around his whole life. He was close with all the families. He really never wanted to get straightened out because then he would have to stop doing what he was doing, and he didn't want to give that up.
Because the drug thing was forbidden.
It's forbidden, but everybody's doing
Everybody
it.
did it. Yeah.
Until you get
How does
caught.
that make sense though? Like that always kind of like.
Well, yeah, some people will follow the rules,
Yeah.
but then the money's too good.
Yeah.
And they dabble and dabble and dabble, and then they get caught, and then they deny it. And if there's a tape, then they can't deny it. And that's the whole reason with Paul Castellano when he got killed. Was Angelo Ruggiero was selling heroin, and he's on the tapes, and that was a whole big thing. They were all going to go, so they had to make a move.
Yeah. Well, shifting a little bit of the family life. You have a beautiful daughter. We met her.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's my little mini-me.
Yeah.
I teach her everything that I know because Daddy's not going to be here forever. So she knows how to do everything. Everything a boy can do, she could do better.
She's young, but she seems very mature.
Yeah, well, she had to grow up quick. She
Yeah.
had to grow up quick. Yeah.
So,
She had to grow up quick. And but again, she still does little girl things, but she also does boy things too. She knows how to put her dress on and be nice and play with her dolls, but she can throat kick you. and
I see it in
get
her
away,
eyes. I see it in her eyes.
Yeah, sure. She has every weapon known to man.
Yeah.
In
the backpack.
Well, no, I took it all out. Yeah, she was coming here with throwing knives, butterfly knife, brass knuckles.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Why would you want to have those like in her
Well,
bag,
she has those weapons, like, you never know. She's in the forest and something jumps out.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Because every
For
time we go to a gun show, she has to buy something new.
Yeah.
But she has dolls and everything else, but she likes to have little gadgets too.
That's cool.
Like she's good with a crossbow, a bow and arrow.
How old is she?
She's 8.
She's 8,
Yeah.
and she can handle a crossbow.
She shot her first deer at 5.
What? Wow, that's insane.
Oh,
We just got a deer last week,
Wow.
an 8-pointer.
That's crazy.
But it's not because you want to look for trouble. It's because in the society we're living in today,
I want her to be prepared, just
You
in
gotta be
case of
prepared.
anything.
Life skills, right?
Sarah,
Yeah.
Sarah goes out for a walk with my son James, and he's in a stroller, and there's coyotes in our neighborhood. A lot of coyotes because
Yeah.
it's surrounded by forest.
Yeah.
Of course, she has bear spray. Of course, she has a
Yeah.
shank. Of
Yeah.
course, you just
On my
prepare.
property,
You
I
never
got
know.
coyotes, foxes, bears, lots of deer.
Oh, wow.
They say there's a mountain lion somewhere, but I didn't see him yet. But I've seen everybody else. And then she likes to go in the forest on my property and ride her quad or her dune buggy, by herself. But she'll take something.
Wow,
You know,
good for
she-
her. That's
You have
awesome.
to.
At 8 years old, though, like she sounds super confident.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she.
that's really good.
If you go on YouTube, you could see her on YouTube. If you punch in little girl with arrow gun shoots apple off doll's head,
Yeah.
Kill Bill style.
That's her.
man.
That's her.
Oh my god!
That's crazy.
And she has
Put the link in the description, guys.
she has an
Right?
air arrow gun that you could take a deer down with it, and she trained every day for like the whole summer, and then she was ready for that one shot when I gave her the test, and you'll see it. She put this arrow dead center of the apple that was on her doll's head. The doll's name was Lucky, and the big apple was on the doll's head, and she shot it from across the yard.
Wow.
Did the doll get lucky or?
Oh yeah, she got the apple. Yeah,
Oh wow, that's amazing.
yeah, she
Right
got
in
the
the middle.
apple. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
It sounds like when you're talking to me, like when we were talking about your dad, obviously you could see the emotion, you can
Yeah.
feel it, but when you're talking about your daughter, the emotion's different.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like you're so happy to be a father.
Oh, listen, if I didn't make the choices I made that put me where I am now, I wouldn't have had her. So I'm grateful that I have her,
Yeah.
because, I've seen a lot of people from my background that has no kids, have nothing, even some friends that have no kids, they die and they're forgotten about.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be erased. So that's my little legacy right there.
Yeah.
you know?
Legacy's huge, man.
You know,
It's so huge.
How do you want to be remembered, Frankie? Not that you're far be it from us, but 100
I
years.
mean, he was a good guy. He would always help you. And you could ask 1,000 people from my past till this day, they'll say the same thing. I was always for the underdog. I would help everybody until you don't deserve the help anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, that's my whole world, my little daughter. My whole world.
I gotta wreck this joint to get some service around
I can't even get out of this chair.
No, now
because if
that
I
you
get
did
up,
that,
the
come
chair's
in.
coming with me.
No.
I'm in here. I'll be here through your interview. What's up, brother? You look
great. Look at you. You fucking like you just got back from Boca.
No, I got back from Planet Fitness, the tanning salon.
Good. My man, look at these two fucking.
Cody, I don't want to mess up the look.
This guy's gonna get picked up on the other side. What's going on?
I got like liposuction going on right now.
I'm like, I just came back from physical therapy. I'm in a sweatsuit.
All right, get in there. Oh, it's the phone. Don't worry about it.
I just got my
Yeah, you reckon the whole joint?
I'm gonna wreck this joint if I'm seeing fucking service. Brooklyn style. Frankie, Steele, look at you like $1 million. You look like you just stepped out of Vegas with Ace.
I wish.
Ace.
I wish.